What's up, everyone? This is Josh here from Basement Level Magic. I'm going to do a Oath of the Gatewatch limited preview. Try to run through the best commons and uncommons so that you're ready for your pre-release this weekend. Let's go. Alright, so one thing I just want to remind everybody in Sealed. Sealed is generally a slower format than Draft, which we've been doing a lot of on this channel. Boards are going to stall out generally, and you need a way to go over the top or to be fast enough to go underneath the other deck. So you can go with the same thinking as you do with the Draft format. Think about eat your bread, B bombs, play them. That's what you're looking for first. You want to make sure you've got all these good mythics and rares. Next, you want to go to R, removal. You need to remove your opponent's bombs. They're going to be looking to remove yours as well. There's generally a lot more removal in Sealed than there is in Draft. So make sure that you have enough ways to get through your opponents. E is for evasion and efficient spells. So evasion, you're talking about flying, menace, unblockable, ways to tap down creatures. There's a lot of this stuff in this format, so you're going to have to watch for that. Also, there's cheap spells that you're able to use during combat. Try to change the math and just get rid of your opponent's creatures. A is for aggro, drafting creatures at all spots on the curve. This is going to round out your deck, and it's going to give you a much more complete feel to your deck. You're not always happy to have a 2/2 for 2, but those are going to be needed. You need to have something early. You can't just play all 7 drops. And then D is for duds. Some of the cards are just bad. Don't play them. If you have a 1/1 for 1, you probably don't want to play it. Get rid of it. Don't even look at it. It's going to help you so that you can look at the cards that actually matter in your pool. Alright, so know the format. If you haven't watched, I had a archetype review for Battle for Zendikar Limited. It's still very similar for this one. Now remember, you're going to get 4 packs of Oath of the Gatewatch and 2 packs of Battle for Zendikar. So you're still looking at the same archetypes as you were in before. The archetypes you're looking at is blue-white flyers and awaken. You've got your devoid strategy, which is blue-red, blue-black, and red-black. You've got allies, green-white, red-white, and Naya. You could even throw in black-white allies, which is more of a life gain deck, though. You've got green-black tokens / sacrifice, red-green landfall, and then the converge deck, which is generally base green, and a lot of times it splashes for blue and white. The Converge deck tends to play as many colors as possible, but those are the 3 that are the most commonly seen together. Alright, so let's get into the cards. So the best uncommons that I have seen in white are Wall of Resurgence. This card is going to be awesome. It's a 0/6 that comes down, and you can put 3 1/1 counters on a target land you control. So all of a sudden you have a 3/3 and an 0/6 for 3 mana. That card is going to be awesome. It's first pickable. If you have multiple, play them all. Immolating Glare is a destroy target attacking creature. It's just simple removal. It's good. Relief Captain, a 4 mana 3/2 that comes in and you get support 3. White is really looking to go wide. There's a lot of token strategies. So getting that support 3, trying to just make all your tokens bigger is really important. And then a card that I like personally is Allied Reinforcements. It's where you can make 2/2 allied creature tokens on the battlefield. 1, you're getting allied triggers. 2, you're getting 2 bodies for the price of 1. It's just a very efficient card. So the best commons that I'm looking at, Isolation Zone, where you've got when it enters battlefield, exile target creature or enchantment until it leaves the battlefield. So it's just a easy way to get rid of your opponent's biggest creatures. Core Sky Climber. This is a 3/2 for 3, and it's got the ability for 1 and a white to gain flying till end of turn. Spawnbinder Mage, which is a 2/4 for 4, and it's got Cohort, where you're able to tap a target creature. So you're just able to slow your opponent down if you have this. Either they have a bigger creature, or if you need to get a blocker out of the way, it's going to be real important. If you don't know how Cohort works, go ahead and check out our other video where we talk about the new mechanics. And then also Searing Light. This card, we'll wait and see how this plays out, but I feel like there's a good deal of low power creatures. So destroying a target blocking or attacking creature for 1 mana always seems good to me. In blue, the best uncommons that I see is Cyclone Sire. It's a flying 3/4 for 5, and when it dies, you basically get to awaken a land for 3. So I don't see them using the term awaken, but a lot of these cards have abilities where you're getting the awaken that you saw in Battle for Zendikar, and this one is one of them. Another one is Thought Harvester. It's a 3 and a blue. It's a 2/4 flyer. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, target opponent exiles a top card of his or her library. Not exactly exciting, but it's definitely a good blocker in this format, and it's going to be able to turn on any of your processors that you may get in your Battle for Zendikar. And then Grip of the Royal is a 2 and a blue, and it costs 1 and a blue for surge cost. This one, you get to draw a card, and you get to tap target creature down for 2 turns. You know, it's not super exciting. I'm not super pumped by the uncommons in blue, but I feel like they've got a decent amount of blue commons, and Battle for Zendikar blue was really strong. So some of the best commons for blue is Blinding Drone, which is a devoid 1/3. You're able to use 1 colorless mana and tap down Blinding Drone, and you can tap a target creature. So it just takes out one of the cards that you're going to have to worry about. You know, if your opponent has a big Eldrazi 7/7 and you can't block it, well, you can at least make it so it can't attack with the Blinding Drone. Containment Membrane is 2 and a blue. It has a surge cost of 1 blue. Enchant creature, and that creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. Now, the thing to remember about a card like this, no, it does not tap down that creature. So you either want to pick it on a card that is already tapped down, or that, you know, you're going to have to probably take at least 1 attack from that card before it's tapped down. But, you know, especially for the surge cost, it's really hard to beat something like that at common. Jawar Isle Avenger, it's 4 and a blue, and it has a surge cost of 2 and a blue, flying 3/3. You know, once again, flyers are very good. Flyers were really good in Battle for Zendikar. They're good this time around as well. Now for 1 blue, you have Slip Through Space. It is a sorcery, devoid. Target creature can't block this turn and draw a card. You know, you're just being able to cycle through your deck, and you're also making it so that you can attack in. Gravity Negator. This card looks really good. It's a devoid flyer. Whenever it attacks, you may pay 1 colorless. If you do, another target creature gains flying until end of turn. It's going to be really important that if you get a card like this, that you put some effort into finding some colorless mana creators, whether it's Scion tokens, whether it's wastes. You know, there's lots of lands out there that you're going to be able to use to make that colorless symbol. So make sure you prioritize that. In black, the best uncommons that I see is Havoc Sower. It's 3 and a black. It's devoid. For 1 and a colorless, it gets +2/+1 until end of turn. So if you are able to, you know, use the mana and have the correct mana, this can attack as a 5/4 or also block as that. And it looks like it doesn't say that you can only do it once. So, you know, if you want to pump this a few times and you've got the mana to do it, go ahead. I feel like that card could definitely be underrated right now. Visions of Brutality. I don't know how good this card's going to be, but I like the artwork a lot. Now, in this one, you have Enchant Creature. The enchanted creature can't block, and whenever it deals damage, its controller loses that much life. So this is going to be a big card if you're ahead. If you're ahead and your opponent has some big creature, you want to go ahead and put Visions of Brutality on that card. So basically, they either don't use it to attack, and they can't block with it, or they attack and they take the same amount of damage as you. Grasp of Darkness for 2 black. Target creature gets -4/-4 until end of turn. Efficient removal, it's at instant speed. Big fan of it. Flaying Tendrils. Now, I wasn't a big fan of Rising Miasma in Battle for Zendikar, but I think Flaying Tendrils is going to be better. You know, it's 1 and 2 black, so it's already 1 cheaper, and all creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. And it also exiles those creatures. So I think that's going to definitely be a really, really good card. And then also Null Caller. Null Caller, it's just a 2/4, but it has a ability to it where you can exile a creature card from your graveyard and put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. So it's not a very exciting card initially, but once you're able to, if you have a board stall or something, and you're able to activate this once or twice a turn, it's going to become huge. And the four toughness is tough to get around for a lot of creatures, other than once they get into the big Eldrazi. So that's definitely a card to be looking for. Some of the best commons that I see, Oblivion Strike. I think this is easily one of the best commons in the set. For 3 and a black, you get to exile target creature. So that's just outright removal. It exiles, and it's for 3 and a black. That's a really good price. Next one I like is Slaughter Drone. It's a devoid 1 and a black 2/2, and for colorless it gains Death Touch. I'm a big fan of 2/2s with extra abilities to them, and giving your guy Death Touch is really important. You're able to basically remove any creature your opponent has as long as they don't have first strike, so it's definitely something to watch for. Unnatural Endurance is one of those efficient combat tricks that you can really use. It just costs one black. This isn't going to be something you're going to prioritize or anything, but if you have 1 or 2 of these, it's going to be really sneaky on your opponent. Target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn and regenerates. So generally that 2 extra power is going to be enough, hopefully, to take out your opponent's creature, and also it makes it so yours lives and theirs doesn't. Next one is Witness the End, 3 and a black. Target opponent exiles 2 cards from his or her hand and loses 2 life. I was a big fan of Mire's Malice, and I think Witness the End is very similar. Now, Mire's Malice did have Awaken, so that definitely had some better ability late game. I like the fact that you're able to take 2 life off your opponent and exile. So I think in the Battle for Zendikar pack, you'll definitely be prioritizing finding some of those rune processors or Eldrazi processors that you can find, where you've got a lot of cards that you're putting into exile with black. Kozilek's Shrieker is the next one. It's 2 and a black. It's devoid. It is a 3/2, and for 1 colorless symbol, it gets +1/+0 and gains Menace until end of turn. Menace is evasion. It's really good in this format. Plus, it gives just a little bit of boost on your power. Nothing exciting there, but it's a decent card that will hopefully be able to fight through a few smaller creatures. Some of the best red uncommons in the set, Devour in Flames. It's 2 and a red. It's a sorcery. As an additional cost, you must return a land you control to your hand, and it deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. It's just an easy way to try to get rid of your opponent's card. A lot of times 5 toughness is really hard for burn to deal with, and this gives you an option. Then for 3 and a red, you have Embodiment of Fury. It's a 4/3 with Trample, which is already very good. Land creatures you control have Trample, and it's got Landfall trigger as well, where whenever a land enters a battlefield under your control, you may have target land you control become a 3/3 elemental creature with haste until end of turn. It's still a land. So it goes back to being a land at the end, but you just play a land, you get a 3/3 with your 4/3. It's got Trample. I think that card is going to be very strong, and it should be prioritized to be picked. Reckless Bushwhacker is another one. It's 2 and a red. It has a surge cost of 1 and a red. It has haste. It's a 2/1. And when it enters a battlefield, if the surge cost was paid, other creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. So for the most part, you're going to want to be playing this for the surge cost, because you're going to give your other creatures that haste trigger. I think it's going to be a pretty decent card. I don't know if it'll be a build around, but looks like it could be a lot of fun. Red, some of the best commons are, your combat tricks like Brute Strength. 1 in a red, target creature gets +3/+1 and gains Trample until end of turn. Having Trample is going to be really important, I feel. Just being able to get that little damage through if they try chump blocking. Expedite. This card isn't... I could see this card going really late in drafts, but it gives your card haste and it draws a card. It's a way to cycle through. You're able to, and also attack with hopefully a big red dummy. Goblin Freerunner, 3 in a red, surge cost of 1 in a red. It has Menace. It's a 3/2. So if you can do this for its surge cost, awesome. If you're having to pay the The 3 and a red for it, you're not exactly excited about it, but it's a decent option. Reality Hemorrhage is 1 and a red, devoid card with where it deals 2 damage to target creature or player. I'm a big fan of being able to do instant damage, and 2 damage is removal for a lot of the smaller creatures in this set, and it's able to just get that last couple points of damage through to your opponent. Then Zada's Commando, it's a 1 and a red, first strike. It has Cohort. The Cohort ability is Zada's Commando deals 1 damage to target opponent. Nothing too exciting, but if you get into a board stall and you've got a lot of creatures, just wait till the end of turn and go ahead and ping them. Green, best uncommons. Embodiment of Insight. It's a 4/4 Vigilance for 4 and a green. Land creatures you control have Vigilance, and it has landfall like the red embodiment, where when landfall is triggered, you make a 3/3 elemental creature with haste, and you're able to attack as Vigilance. I think that card is going to be really good. I'm really hoping that green is going to be good in this set, so that it makes it a lot more fun to draft, because in Battle for Zendikar, nobody wanted green. Green was just awful. So hopefully it picks up this time. Harvester Troll is the next one, which is 3 and a green. It's a 2/3. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a creature or land. If you do, put 2 1/1 counters on Harvester Troll. Now, if you're playing this and you're not able to sacrifice a creature or land, this card is not going to be very good. It's a 2/3 for 4, which just sucks. But if you're able to just go ahead and sacrifice a land for this, it's a 4/5, which is great body for the price. So I think it's a decent card to go after. Seed Guardian is the next one. It's 2 and 2 green. It has reach. It's 3/4. And whenever it dies, put an XX green elemental creature token onto the battlefield, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. So if you have a lot of creatures in your graveyard, this card is going to be insane. Your opponent may not want to kill it if you're playing this late game. This is definitely a card that I would love to play with, and I'd like to try it out. So some of the best commons in green, I feel like green has some really decent commons. A lot of them are not like over the top exciting, but I think it could be all right. You can see in the bottom left there, I did put Pulse of Marasa. That's a card I almost feel ashamed putting in there, but most of the time you don't want to just play a card where you bring back a creature, but I feel like that card could be very good, and I may be really wrong in this, but I think it'll be awesome. It's at instant speed, you get to return target creature or land, and you get to gain 6 life. Usually you don't want to just return a card because you're almost taking a turn off, but to be able to gain life also and do it at instant speed seems really, really good for me. Then next is Scion Summoner. It's 2 and a green. It's a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, you get a 1/1 Scion token. So basically you're getting 3 toughness, 3 power for 3 mana spread across 2 bodies. Always a good deal. Stalking Drone is next. It's 1 and a green. It is a 2/2, and it's got the ability where you use a Uncolored mana, and it gets a +1/+2 until end of turn. You can only activate that once, though. But to be able to have what could be a 3/4 on turn 2 or turn 3 is pretty important. So I think it'll be pretty decent in limited. Elemental Uprising is 1 and a green. It's an instant. Target land you control becomes a 4/4 elemental creature with haste until end of turn. It's still land and must be blocked this turn if able. The fact that this is at instant speed is huge. It means that you can use this on your turn to attack with. It means that you can use it on your opponent's turn to block with, and a surprise block and kill their creature. I think this card is going to be really good. It's something that green was lacking in the last set. Green had like almost nothing for removal, and this is going to really help with it. Netcaster Spider is the next one. 2 and a green. It's a 2/3. It has reach, and whenever it blocks a creature with flying, it becomes a 4/3. It's just an efficient, really good blocker for flyers, which green definitely had some problems with in the last set. And then just a regular big green dummy, Tajuru Pathwarden. It's a 4 and a green for a 5/4 Vigilance Trample. It doesn't seem super exciting, but that's just a That's just a good big green card that's got a few extra abilities to it. I'm a fan of it. Some of the uncolored commons and uncommons that you need to watch for. Spatial Contortion. For 1 and a colorless, target creature gets +3/-3 until end of turn. So if the opponent's creature has only 3 toughness, or if you've already done some damage, you're able to go ahead and kill it with, and it's at instant speed. It's colorless. I think that's going to be a really good card. That is an uncommon. Another uncommon is Walker of the Wastes. Now this will definitely be a card that you want to use if you go with a lot of the waste lands. Otherwise this isn't going to be like a high pick, but if you have a lot of wastes in your deck, this card could be really good. It is 4 and a colorless. It has trample. It's a 4/4. And Walker of the Waste gets +1/+1 for each land you control named Wastes. So, if you only have 1 in your deck, that's still okay. You're getting a 5/5 trample for 5. If you have 2, 3, 4 of them, this card can get out of hand real quick. Now to the commons, Warden of Geometries. It is 4 mana for a 2/3 with vigilance, and it can create colorless mana. Fairly simple. It can go in every deck. It allows you to make that colorless mana for your abilities that you may have on your creatures. Next is Seer's Lantern. This is it's an artifact that creates colorless mana. And also if you're not doing anything, board stalled out, you can pay some mana and scry with it. So it's just an efficient thing to do. Hedron Caller, nothing too exciting, but it's just another way for you to make colorless mana, which, depending on what deck you build, could be pretty important. Alright, in general, the gold cards are very good. If you are looking like you're in those colors or you have mana fixing for it, play the cards. Generally gold cards are going to be better, higher level quality than a lot of the, 1 mana symbols, but I'd say go ahead and check it out if you've got some good ones. My favorite is the Storm Chaser Mage. It's blue and a red. Flying Haste Prowess. It's a 1/3. Alright, what do you guys think? What did I miss? I'm sure there's a few cards out there that you guys are looking forward to playing the most. One word of advice, keep your expeditions, or at least make sure that you're checking true market value. Don't get swindled by anybody out there. They'll try to give you a bunch of junk cards, or, watch out for all those new players out there. Make sure that if somebody pulls an expedition, they get what they should for it. And I think definitely the biggest thing for me, go and have some fun. For the most part, it's not all about winning at pre-release. It's about having a good time, seeing the new set, and trying it out. Alright, please remember to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We really do appreciate it. And if you guys haven't checked it out, check out our new mechanics primer for Oath of the Gatewatch. It'll give you, this one went through the cards, that one goes through the mechanics. Make sure that you have an idea of what you're going to run into when you start playing. And also remember to check out the SCG Open Denver playmat that we are giving away. It is on the homepage of our channel. All you gotta do is hit subscribe and leave a comment below. We're going to be giving it away at the end of February. That's about it. Thanks for watching, everybody. This is Josh here with Basement Level Magic. We'll see you the next time. Later.